be on the call. So, you know, I was asking some questions inside of a group this week, and I was like, what's the thing you want to learn about? And the number one thing was, how do I get my customers to be a promoter? Or what do I need to ask them to see if that's something they're interested in doing? And so, so excited that we have rock star legend Olivia Jaymes here today to share some of those tips with us. And before we get started, I want to remind you to check your schedule, because as you know, we have a different schedule on calls. So review that, and then we'll kind of swing back around to that at the end of the call. So Olivia, could you come on and share some of your awesome tips and information you have for us, and let us learn from you and take this and put it into action for 2018.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Look at all these awesome faces. So many of you I know personally. There's tons of new people on here, so I'm super stoked. Lori, thank you for that fabulous introduction. And I know Abby's kind of looking like Holly Holmes right now. So I'm super excited to have the opportunity to speak with all you guys. So Abigail and I were chatting. And so she did that amazing call on Saturday. Who was on that call, right? Talking about your transferable skills. What are you really good at? And so we were just chatting, and she asked me, she's like, hey, Olivia, what are you really good at in this business? And I said, I am actually really good at the individualization part of it, right? So really connecting with people and finding out how ketones and the ketogenic lifestyle can really just match with their lifestyle so organically. And so we were just chatting, and because of that, they transition from customers to promoters very, very easily, and you don't really have to force anything. So one of the things I do want to get out of the way is that so much of this business is kind of rinse and repeat, right? We have the play that works, and that's absolutely fantastic. And that'll get you that exposure out there when you are starting the ketone conversation and moving ketones. However, when it comes to customers, it's a little bit of a different ball game, right? And I mean that because you really have to connect with these people. This is where your ability to be relational. And I'm not talking about being a therapist. I'm not talking about, being their daily motivation, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when was the last time you really received good customer service? Right? Really good customer service. Now that person, they might have followed up with you a week later or so, but I was in the Apple store actually the other day, and this reminded me of it. So being in the Apple store, I came into the Apple store, and he asked me, hey, what are you here for? What are you looking for? And I told him exactly what I was looking for. And then they said, well, what does your daily life look like? How would you be using this product every single day? And then after I told him, he said, well, based on what you've told me, would you be open to some other options and some other deals? And I said, yeah, absolutely, right? Because he had taken the time to hear what I had to say, right? Had really assessed the situation, and then came back at me and said, well, you have some options, and this is what you came in wanting, but this is what I'm going to recommend. So remember, that line is really good, and I'll circle back around to it. So where does this all start? Where does this all start with customers? This starts with setting product expectations, right? If you have not had the opportunity to watch that YouTube video, it is on the Keto Movement YouTube page. And it's just making sure that you're getting the product out to that customer in the right frame, in the right environment, right? So if they're not having a good experience, then you have zero place to start. Is that making sense to everybody? So you want to make sure, obviously, that they have a good experience, right? The other thing is that when somebody orders from us or somebody orders from me, I get on the phone with them. How many of you actually get on the phone with your customers after they place an order? Right? I'm not talking like you're getting on the phone so you can help them actually make the transaction, but who is getting on the phone with them after they place an order? right? And this doesn't have to be a super long conversation. You don't have to be an expert in ketones, but there are 4 things that I'm looking for when I get on the phone with that person. So who is this person, right? Like, who are they? Are they, I talk about this all the time. Are they a mom? Are they, a busy, entrepreneur? Are they a real estate agent? Are they a college student? Are they somebody in the military like myself? Like, there's such a wide variety, right? So who are they and how do they identify? Because that's going to make a huge difference. Who are you, right? The other thing is why? Like, why do you want this product? What are you looking for in this product, okay? If I can't identify the who and the why, then I'm already behind the 8 ball. I'm already behind the curve because now all I'm doing is shoving a product in somebody's face. Is that making sense to everybody? So the who and the why. And then the next thing is the what, right? And I'm talking the what in regards to the product, right? So which product did they order? And that, you guys, in itself kind of sheds a whole lot of light on where that person is in their journey on whatever goals they're trying to achieve, right? So what? So is this somebody who just wants the keto cream? Is this somebody who's strictly interested in the new Keto Calm tea because they have issues with sleep? Is this somebody who is like, oh my gosh, I just bought 4 boxes of Max because I'm a CrossFitter or I love to work out? Or is this somebody who just wants wants the orange? Like, it's, you know what I mean? So there's a whole lot there. So what? And then once you can identify what product that really fits for them, then you can kind of circle back around, and every time you have a sale, you can say, hey, this product's on sale, or we have this awesome sale. I know you really like the Orange Dream. Just wanted to throw that out there for you and keep you in the loop. See what I'm saying? So if you connect with them and know about them, you're no longer selling, you're adding value. And I think that's where that mental shift has to come in, is that you've got to start adding value. And then the other thing is, so you have the who, the why, the what, and then the next one is the when, right? And the when. And this is in regards to their goals, right? So when are they trying to achieve these goals, right? If somebody is trying to lose weight, or if somebody just wants that better energy, if somebody's using it for a therapeutic reason, what is their timeline and is it realistic? So that is a huge, huge thing, because the reality is that customers fall in love with this product when they start getting results, right? When they start getting results. So I'm never going to ask a customer to be a promoter if they haven't had a positive experience and they haven't achieved a result. Does that make sense? Because where is their loyalty? There is none. There is none. So I want to make sure that I'm helping them achieve that first milestone and that first goal. And again, don't get overwhelmed, right? Like, I'm not saying that you have to, be their therapist or their coach or their fitness coach or their health coach or life coach or anything like that, right? But just identifying what the heck their goals are. How many of you truthfully know your customers and know what they're really trying to achieve and how close they are to really achieving it, right? So that is a huge gap that we can definitely fill. So helping them achieve those goals, then I can ask them, hey, I know you've had an awesome result with this. I know that you're totally loving the product. Let's go ahead and get you plugged into the community. And when I say plugged into the community, this is what I do. So I leverage the community before or during their process. So during the entire process, right? And even if this is somebody that's not in your local community, like, you can get them plugged into the Prove It Facebook page. This is actually a really cool hack that I learned from one of our promoters here in Alaska, is that she invites all her new customers to watch the Dr. Live videos with her live. Like, she's not sending the recordings. She's not like, oh, here's the recording. She's like, hey, no, I'm jumping on the live right now. And she sends them the invite, like the real live. And I was like, wow, that's really awesome. So that's something that I've been doing, and it works out really, really well. So plugging into the community here locally, if you have customers locally, or you don't have any customers locally, or you want to have a local market, keto coffee, you guys, It's absolutely amazing. And especially for us women, like phenomenal, right? Because who doesn't want to meet? We usually do it on a Saturday morning, right? So we meet on Saturday mornings and we have coffee. And I bring some keto cream. A few other promoters will bring some keto cream. And if not, most coffee houses nowadays, who's noticed, most coffee houses nowadays can make some type of bulletproof coffee for you, right? And so you just sit there and you just chat. Like you just get to know them. You chat, and I bring hack magazines just in case they want them. But that's absolutely fantastic. And the other thing is too, is that that's a really good opportunity to not only expose them to the community and expose them to you, but to allow them to invite a girlfriend or two, or to allow them to invite a friend or two, right? Because meeting for coffee is a very relational thing, right? After Starbucks launched, like they changed the whole dynamic of meeting for coffee and what that looks like. So, and if it's in a big group of people, people don't feel like they're going to be cornered or sidelined or anything. But really so before Abby asked me to do this call, I connected with a few customers and I said, hey, I said, why are you so loyal? Right? What have we done that has made you so loyal? And so one of the things that they said is that, well, obviously you got to know me and what I wanted. And she said, you guys aren't weird. Like you're not weird. Right. And so I think that's a huge point to bring up, like people want to know, like if they're going to back something or they're going to talk about something, not only do they love it, but they know that there is less of a fear of judgment on the other end. Is that making sense? So they know that, hey, we're not being weird. So that's super duper important. So I wanted to bring that up to you guys. The other thing is too, and this is something that Abby and I were talking about too, is that you guys, we have so many things to leverage, like so many things to leverage, right? So a few examples is I had a nurse, right? And so nurses love ketones. Who knows that? Like nurses love ketones, okay? They need ketones, yes. So all that shift work, any shift worker, just caveat, any shift worker needs ketones, okay? I'm a shift worker. So any shift worker needs ketones. So what was I saying? Okay, you got me sidetracked. Sorry, Selena. And so I had a nurse, right? So I still have a nurse as a customer. She's amazing. She has her 2 customers, right? And she was running a Spartan race. And she told me about it. And she said, hey, I want to order an extra box because I'm running a Spartan race. And I said, that is absolutely fantastic. I said, how else can I support you in that? Right? And I'm not saying like I was going to pay her entry fee. I was going to do anything like that. But that is a really good line, you guys. How else can I support you in that? And she said, well, she's like, if you happen to have like an extra t-shirt or maybe like an extra shaker bottle, do you mind sending it to me? And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so I sent her, a t-shirt that I had, and I had the ability to send her a shaker bottle, but I was able to hook her up. And now she shares a ketone conversation like it is freaking cool. Like it is cool, right? And so she hasn't clicked her promoter button yet, and that's total transparency, right? But it doesn't really matter because she has her 2 customers. She's getting her product for free, and now she's referred like 6 people, you guys. And so those other 4 people are now my customers. Like, okay, cool, right? Like, okay, cool. Either way, you're still getting the volume. Either way, you're still getting the commission and the payout, right? I had another guy who is a landscaper, right? And so he obviously is a laborer, right? Anybody who knows anybody that does landscaping is a laborer. And so he's outside all day, every day. And so this is where I was able to connect with him. So what are you using the ketones for? Like why do you want to try ketones? He's like, honestly, I just need energy. Like I just straight up need energy. And so I know that every time I talk to him, it's really just checking in with him just to see how he's feeling and how the energy is doing. But somebody who wants energy is going to be very different than somebody who wants, the fat loss, right? So anybody who wants energy, this is somebody who I can hit back up every time we launch a new product, right? So now the amped are his jams. Like he doesn't even look at Max the same because he just wants that straight energy. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's really just connecting with everyone. The other thing is too, is that, are you talking to somebody, like what resources are you adding for them, right? It's all about adding value. Like, what resources are you adding to them? Do you happen to have, some quick recipes? And I'm not saying that you have to spend this, you guys, this doesn't take a whole lot of time. It really doesn't. Like, if you just set up some really cool recipes, I know Lori sends out like the diet doctor type stuff, that link, and that's a really good resource for all things ketogenic. But what resources are you sending out? Like, you can share recipes from the Prove It Facebook page. Like, there's a whole lot of things. So are you sharing recipes with somebody that's looking for fat loss? Does that make sense? So there's a whole lot there. So now that you have some questions to ask, now you have some examples on how to connect with people, how do you let them know about everything we offer on the promoter side? How does that transition really happen, right? So after they order and I get on the phone with them, I tell them about the 22% off, and I let them know right away, hey, we have a customer loyalty program that offers you 22% off. It's absolutely incredible. This is where you have to know what their health goals are, right? Because I don't expect you to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Is it possible? Yes. But let's say you don't. I would hate for you to pay full price for your ketones next month. And people are like, oh, okay, damn, right? And then you let them know, like, hey, you can pause it at any time. At any time you want, you can pause it, because that's the truth, right? Like, that's the truth. But I always tell them, like, hey, I'd hate for you to have to pay full price for your ketones next month. You can get them at 22% off. And 22% off is steep, y'all. Like, that's a good discount. Like, you know what I mean? That's a good discount. So, and I remind them of that. I'm like, you don't even get, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get 22% off. Like, I'm military, and I'm lucky if I get 10% off, okay? So, and I tell people that, and they start they start laughing, but 22% off is really good. The other thing is, now once they're on all that auto ship, right? Because you want all your customers on auto ship. I think sometimes we get so caught up in putting the cart before the horse, right? We're trying to ask customers to be promoters when we really haven't engaged with them in what they're trying to achieve in regards to their goals. Right? So we want to make sure that they achieve their goals, and we want to make sure that they're on the auto ship and they're getting their monthly shipment. And then this is the kicker, right? And so this is more of like a slow play. This isn't something that just happens overnight. Who's identified that? Who's taken a customer to a promoter? Who's identified that, right? This isn't something that happens overnight. Can it happen in 2, 3, 4 weeks? Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's not going to happen all in one conversation. So I think that that's where the mindset shift needs to come. But then I tell them, I said, hey, you're on the auto shipment program, and I check in with them, and then I start asking them, so like, what do your family and friends think? What do your girlfriends think? Right? How are people, like, I know you're feeling better. Like, what's going on over here? Like, what are they? And then usually they're like, yeah, well, so-and-so actually asked me about, or actually, yeah, a girlfriend did ask me about, right? So I'm planting that seed and trying to find out from them, opening that conversation, opening that door of, okay, who else knows that they're drinking ketones, right? Who else knows? And why is that person not drinking ketones? That's what I need to find out. And then once they start identifying people, or sometimes you don't have to ask that question. Customers fall in love, but if you do it right and you engage with them and you create that relationship, they'll tell you, hey, I have somebody that wants to try this. I was talking to my girlfriend and she wants to try this, but you can plant that seed. So awesome. You're feeling better. Has your spouse noticed your mood change? Right? Has your coworkers noticed your mood change? Right? So, or dang, who knew that a pink drink could seriously change your life? Right? And like, or what do people think about you always drinking, this blue drink? You know what I mean? Like, you can just plant those little seeds and then open up that door for conversation. So that has worked out really, really well for me. And then there's also just that option that I started off with in the very beginning too, right? Hey, I know that you're absolutely loving your experience. Are you open to some other discounts and deals? We have a strictly, and this is verbatim what I say, we have a strictly customer program only. And you can get your product for free. You can get your product for free. 2 customers and your product is free. It's not 3 for free. It's 2 for free, right? Which is a super good deal. Again, because that's not what, is offered out there a lot. But then I also tell them too, like, hey, you know, you also have the ability to monetize this. You also have the ability to earn the rewards and commissions. You might not be ready for that right now, but I just wanted to make you aware in case you were. And that's it. Like, that's literally it. That's literally it. But you have to remember that they have to click that button in their own time, right? When they're ready for it. But if you build that relationship right, asking that question is never going to be an issue. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to have those relationships with people and ask those right questions so that I never felt like I was selling something or forcing something down somebody's throat, because this product is too amazing and too awesome to have that done, right? Like, it doesn't do the product nor the community any justice to just be like, you know, just be like selling ketones, you know, everywhere. So yeah, absolutely adding value first. Absolutely adding value first. So my action steps for you guys is literally, who are those awesome loyal customers that you have right now? And how have you added value to them? Coming into 2018, I'm sure that they have goals, whether it's health goals, whether it's financial goals. Do you know what those goals are? And how can you add value to them and help them achieve those goals, right? Because I bet you they're looking for health and finances, and we offer both, right? And we offer both. So that's my challenge to you, is that who are those loyal customers? And then I challenge you to get on the phone with 3 of them today. 3 of them, have a 10-minute conversation, you know, and reconnect with them if you haven't already. And some of you might not even have really connected, you know, find out who, why, what, and when, right? Let them know about the new keto calm tea and stuff like that, right? Because we can make Facebook posts all day long, but remember that if you don't have that solid foundation, that's really hard. You know, that's really hard. I don't want to constantly be concerned about getting new customers to qualify every month. I didn't want that. You know, now naturally there's going to be some drop off, right? But that's not what I wanted. So I wanted to build that solid foundation. So yeah, I encourage you to call 3 people today. Call 3 of your customers and find out exactly what their goals are for 2018. Find out where they're at and what their goals are for 2018, and then let them know about the options that they have. Hey, these are some of the options that you have. When you're ready, let me know. You know, when you're ready, let me know. And that's it. So Abby, that's all I have. I don't know if you want to, or Lori, I think you're running it. That's all I have. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Olivia. Those are great tips. And Abigail posted over there too that we have this customer group started. So if you're not in that and you want to be, I've slowly started adding some people in my group. So I think that's a really good group to be a part of. And then we're going to do like our Ketone 101 live in there instead of like a Zoom. So I think that's a really good move to be able to share with people the conversation, because I think they'll see that and they'll jump on it easier than they will to go to a Zoom as a new person. So I really love that idea. We have a few people we want to recognize, and I'm probably going to butcher some of your names. And so if I do, forgive me. But Jenna Busak is MVP. So that's awesome. Just do that over and over again and you'll be on your way to huge success. Katrina Sandifer is ranked 3. We have Robin Lake, another MVP, with Heath Powell also doing MVP. So that's just the building blocks of this business. Just think about doing that over and over. Manu Lemire, that's probably not right, but go pro. So that's awesome. One more step to MVP. We have Jesse Smith, Jessica Hollick, and Steve Puckett all hit rank 2 in the last week or so. So congratulations to you guys. I want to remind you of this data play call tonight at 8:15 Central, and then our next Zoom, we'll all get back together on Wednesday at 11 Central, and that will be on Brian Jaymes Zoom link 2017, 2018, 20. So that's an easy way to remember that. So if you guys don't have any questions or anything else, then you're free to go. And thank you for spending time with us here this morning and learning from Olivia. Thank you so much, Olivia, for sharing that with us. That was awesome information. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the call tonight.